Look who's here. I know you told me. Look who's here.
All right, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Let's all find a seat. Good morning. This is a continuation of the public hearing on the proposed Mitchellfield Integrated Resort District that began on May 27th, 2025. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Supervisor Clavin.
Here.
Councilman Dunn.
Here.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Here.
Councilwoman Miller.
Here.
Councilman Muscarella.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Here.
Councilman Schneider.
Here. Council Muscarella, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Please stand. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Town Attorney, I will now ask you to advise members of the audience as the rules of continuation of the meeting that stems from the 27th.
Thank you, Supervisor. Today's portion of the public hearing will begin with the same applicant's attorney, Dan Baker, making a statement. Each speaker thereafter will have 3 minutes to make their comments. If you spoke on May 27th, then you will not be permitted to speak again today. This is one continuous hearing which began on May 27th. I will also remind the public that this board amended the proposed ordinance on May 27th to specify the proposed ordinance would only apply to the parcel known as Nassau County Land and Tax Map, Section 44, Block F, Lots 326, 351, 401, 402, 411, 412, and 415, which is commonly known as the Coliseum and Marriott properties. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor.
Okay. Just to clarify, I know that Mr. Baker, who's the attorney for the applicant, will speak after. As this is a continuation, we will continue with comments made for the record. I spoke to Mr. LaSquadra on it. There was just a little misunderstanding on that. Is that okay with you?
That's fine.
Okay. With that, Marie, when we're asking residents, this is how we're going to do it. We have a number of residents want to speak. When we identify you, we'll start with the person on the this side by the podium, and I will ask the next speaker to go on deck. Marie Murphy, if you please go.
Should I?
Oh, I'm sorry, Madam Clerk. I apologize.
I'll call the hearing. It's
Yeah,
the
please.
resolution-
Thank you, my friend.
The resolution on the proposed enactment of Section 146.2 to be entitled MF-IRD Mitchellfield Integrated Resort District, MF-IRD of Article 13 of the Building Zone Ordinance.
Okay. All right. So we'll start with Marie Murphy at the back podium, and Jen Solomon will be on deck. When you go up there, please give your name and address for the record. Thank you very much. Is Jen Solomon here? Jen Solomon, once, twice. Then I'm going to ask Terry Daniels. Terry Daniels, are you here? Terry Daniels, you're going to be on deck. Yes, ma'am. Name and address, thank you.
My name is Marie Murphy. I'm from Garden City, and thank you for letting me speak. I have been a resident of Nassau County for 29 years. I moved back here from Illinois to be back closer to family, and my husband and I searched in the tri-state area and decided to come back to Nassau County, because of the residential nature of the community. It really reminded us of the small towns in Illinois that we had loved, and we were thrilled to come back. I accessed the extensive environmental study that was posted both in the library and online, and I was which clearly showed the profound ways that the Sands project would impact our area and the extensive response that would be needed to address the myriad of concerns. That project no longer exists, and now is the time to rethink the direction the development takes. I was here in 2015 and heard the many protests and passionate conversations regarding the OTB and slot machines at the Fortunoff site. I researched news articles and some social media posts and came across several from the then Nassau County executive and the Hempstead supervisor at the time, saying that they stood with the residents who opposed gambling at the site because of the traffic congestion and effects on the local community. They didn't have jurisdiction over the OTB project, but you do have that control now. I've heard great speeches over the past 2 years from local government officials, both current and former mayors of Garden City, Mineola, Westbury, Rockville Center officials, among others, that reflect the true concerns of their residents and your constituents. No one is against development, but I am opposed to promoting gambling in our residential community. This is an area surrounded by schools, middle schoolers through college kids. It's just not appropriate. So I'm standing here and speaking out loud, saying all the things I've written in emails to many of you over the past year. Say no to the casino and the rezoning of the Nassau Coliseum site that includes any type of gambling. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Next I have, okay, thank you. Terry Daniels, and on deck is going to be Richard Yudkis. Mr. Yudkis, are you here? Richard Yudkis? If you go right over to that podium and you're on deck, sir. Please, ma'am, give your name and address. Thank you. Mr. Yudkis. Mr. Yudkis, you go over to that podium over there and you're going to be the next speaker, okay? You didn't want to speak? Okay, that's fine. Christine Mullaney, did you want to speak? You're going to be next up on that podium right there. Good morning, ma'am. Your name and address.
Good morning. My name is Terry Daniels. I live at 12 Rolling Drive in Brookville. Good morning, Town of Hempstead Board. I'm a 6-year resident of Brookville and a 30-year resident of Merrick, New York. Since it's the last public hearing before you vote on rezoning for gambling, I'll limit my 3 minutes to gambling. Consider these findings published by the Stop Predatory Gambling Foundation, a nonprofit based in DC with members in all 50 states. The documented facts should scare you enough to care more about what residents would lose and less about short-lived gains. If you say yes to gambling in Nassau County, all that glitters will not be gold for Long Islanders. Government-sanctioned gambling is metastasizing across the country due to the greed of big gambling operators and the lust for power in politicians and others. Predatory gambling exists when a state partners with corporate gambling interests to defraud its citizens. How does this happen? State-sanctioned gambling does not protect public interests. The business model for all commercial gambling casinos depends on creating and then exploiting the addicted and financially desperate. It cannot survive without those people. Does commercial gambling lead to economic growth and good jobs? No. Commercial gambling is a naked money grab disguised as economic development. Casinos enrich the owners, but leave behind far more gambling addicts than jobs. Are casinos effective at improving state governments financially? New Jersey demonstrates how gambling has been a major failure as a revenue source. Jersey has government-sanctioned casinos, online gambling, a state lottery, and sports betting. Yet New Jersey is in dire fiscal condition, 48th state in the nation, per the U.S. News and Report state ranking of fiscal stability. At its core, commercial gambling is a con game. Every casino feature, the graphics, the sounds, even the seating ergonomics is designed to make players stay put and play to extinction. Statistically, the vast majority of players will lose their monies in a casino. The desperate will ask their government for help. And in turn, the government will ask taxpayers to make up the inevitable budget deficits. What about our kids? To quote the foundation, no group has suffered more because of government-sanctioned gambling than America's youth. Millions of kids are growing up in families who are financially desperate, losing their paychecks, savings, and subsidy chests. I urge you to vote no to rezoning for gambling. Save Nassau County from this avoidable tragedy. Vote responsible.
Okay, thank you very much. Next I have Ms. Mullaney. Ms. Mullaney, and on deck I have Leo Stimler. Mr. Stimler, you're going to speak right over there. Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Mullaney, if you give your name and address. Thank you.
My name is Christine Mullaney. I live in Garden City. My husband and I were in our 20s many, many years ago when we bought our home in Garden City. We raised our children here. We are not retiring to Point South. We like it here. What we don't like is any rezoning that would allow a casino or electronic gaming at the Nassau Hub. We strongly oppose the Mitchell Field Integrated Resort District proposal that would permit these activities. Traffic on Nassau County's main roads has increased substantially in recent years. Old Country Road is jammed many hours of the day, pushing traffic onto Clinton and other north-south streets through the Hempstead communities as drivers head towards Hempstead Turnpike. Traffic on east-west Stewart Avenue is also much heavier. A casino or electronic gaming would substantially add to the number of vehicles on these roads. There is no denying this. There is no substantive talking points to gloss over the serious damage that this increased traffic would have on our communities in the Nassau Hub. 20,000 daily gamblers would create a traffic nightmare, a nightmare that would negatively impact the value of my home and property as well as that of my neighbors in the Hub area. A traffic nightmare that would increase air pollution. A traffic nightmare that would negatively impact the quality of suburban life. Who will pay for these extra services for fire, police, and EMS? Obviously we, the taxpayers. FBI stats show that 9% of total crime in communities with casinos is due to gambling. Theft, burglary, gang activity, drunk driving, drug trafficking will increase throughout Nassau County. Hofstra University, Nassau Community College, Kellenborg Memorial High School, and their thousands of students exist within close proximity to the Hub. These students and others all are potential targets for the drug traffickers and the increased crime that accompanies illegal drug trafficking. This is inevitable, as every study demonstrates. The last concern I want to address is water. An 8-year study released last year found that the Long Island aquifer is under stress, leading to saltwater intrusion. This is a complicated issue, but there is no debate that when large amounts are withdrawn for human use, the aquifer will run a deficit. When Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman endorsed the controversial plan in 2023 to allow a casino at the Hub, he said that the Sands Complex, quote, will become the #1 entertainment facility in the United States. He at least acknowledged, quote, that traffic is an issue. It's a big one, as are crime, drug addiction, air pollution, drinking water depletion, and the economic destruction of local businesses. Turn this zoning proposal down for the sake of the people who live here and the people who vote here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mullaney. Next I have Leo Stimler and Elaine Masuko? Apologize.
Leo Stimler.
You got it, Leo. If you give name and address, thank you.
Leo Stimler, Village of Garden City, 67 Huntington Road. I oppose the town of Hempstead's rushed rezoning change to allow gambling at the Nassau Coliseum and the adjacent Marriott Hotel. 20 months ago, on October the 3rd, 2023, about 20 or so of my neighbors from Garden City and Uniondale came to a Town of Hempstead meeting. We waited about an hour and a half for the regularly scheduled business to finish so that we could speak at the public comments section. Just as the public comments part of the meeting was about to start, Town Supervisor Don Clavin and Town Council Member Tom Muscarella got up and walked out of the meeting. They never returned. We had waited 90 minutes to speak. They didn't return, and they gave no explanation. Foolishly, I wrote to them and asked them what happened. I never got a response from either one. I was already concerned about the Sands Casino, but their walking out of it made me more concerned. And when I saw in Newsday and the New York Post and other newspapers, which said that the Sands Casino was expecting to be handing out $100 million annually for Nassau County, the town of Hempstead, and surrounding communities to share. That's $100 million annually to share. The Nassau County, the town of Hempstead, and the surrounding communities. We had some strong arguments against the Sands Casino, but how do you fight $100 million annually if the New York Post and the other magazines who are writing about this were accurate? We were concerned about traffic gridlock. If anybody has been on Old Country Road around 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, just gridlock. Our water source, there's such stress on the sole source aquifer. There's overpumping, and there's a lot of saltwater intrusion, drugs, crime. Would these arguments be enough to overcome the $100 million that was the town that the Sands Casino was supposedly going to spread to Nassau County, the town of Hempstead and surrounding communities? I don't think so. I'm very discouraged. I think it's a waste of time for me to be here. I think they've already made up their mind. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you coming in. It's Len?
I'm talking for my wife.
Oh, well, no, you shouldn't do that, but okay. Yeah, why don't you give your name and address so we can put it in?
She gave me her permission.
She gave you the notes?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Okay, well, give her name and address then, okay? And hold on then. Then how about Len Masucci?
Yes, Len Masucci. I live in Westbury at Meadowbrook.
Hold on, Len. Brent Stranahan. Brent, we're going to have you go over there. You're on deck. Len, go for it.
My name's Len Masucci. I live in Westbury at Meadowbrook Point. I'm here today to implore you to preserve our suburbs. Not long ago, as was mentioned before, they tried to put slot machines and OTB, I called it a casino, over by Fortune Offs. Our civic association was adamantly opposed to it, and we fought it, and with the help of others, we won. We were against the increased traffic and the clientele that would have drawn. We wanted to preserve our suburban lifestyle. It was defeated. Now you want to bring a casino to Uniondale. Bad idea. In 2014-15, Charles Wong had a proposal to develop the same area right around the Islanders. They had made this community well known. A whole community could have been created, and we wouldn't be here today. That was a bad decision. Some of you might have even been here. I know for a fact at least one person who's sitting here was involved in that decision. It was a horrendous decision. The town of Hempstead rejected that idea. Now you want to put a casino here. Another bad idea. It's horrible. It's no good for Uniondale. It's no good for the town of Hempstead. It's no good for Nassau County. Let's not make it Queens East. Keep our suburban lifestyle. Say no to a casino. Your job is to serve us. At these meetings that I've attended, a majority, I would bet 60 to 70% of the people have been against this proposal. Do the right thing. Say no.
Next I have Brent Stranahan, and Mr. Mackey is on deck.
Good morning. My name is Brent Stranahan. I'm a 44-year resident of the town of Hempstead. My wife and I chose to raise our 2 sons in Garden City because of the exceptional quality of life in the community, safe neighborhoods, great schools, and a sense of stability in one of the most desirable locations in Long Island. That's why I speak today with a concern, not just as a longtime resident, but as someone who was deeply involved in the fabric of the community and the surrounding area. The proposal rezoning of the Nassau Hub site to allow for casino gambling is a decision of major consequences, yet many of us feel the process is moving way too fast without genuine input from the very people it could affect the most. I respectfully ask, who is the proposed development truly for? I've not heard it. Where is the demonstrated community demand? I have not heard it. Have we paused the process long enough to ask whether this kind of project aligns with the long-term vision of Nassau County? I haven't heard it. Nassau County, as everybody knows, is one of the most affluent counties in the nation. Do we really need a casino to improve or sustain our local economy? I don't think so. Are we trading perceived short-term financial promises for no demonstrable financial model, which has not been shown to the public, for the long-term documented, demonstrable negative impact of granting this rezoning plan? I urge the board to reflect on whether this proposal is being advanced for the good of the public or for reasons that have not been fully explained to the local community. What is the rationale for this move now? We seek Board of Supervisor and Town Council transparency in the matter and clear voice in shaping the future of the place we all call home. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Mackey, we're going to have Mr. Mackey, and then I have Gina Herring on deck. Mr.
Thank
Mackey,
you,
name and
Supervisor Don Clavin, and to Deputy Supervisor Dorothy Gooseby, and all the members of the Hempstead Town Board, and to Kate the Great Murray. It's so good to be back here at Hempstead Town Hall, where I worked for 30 years, and I'm here for a purpose: to lend my voice to say no to the casino. And if I was in church, I would say hell no to the casino, because it needs to go to the pits of hell. It is not good for the people of America's largest township, this casino. And it certainly is not good for the black and brown, predominantly, community of Uniondale. Now, you wouldn't want this casino in the community where you woke up this morning. If this casino was so great, you would say, bring it to my community. I lived in Uniondale when I worked here at Town Hall for 7 out of those 30 years. Walk here to my job at Town Hall. And my daughter went to Hofstra University, right there at the hub. My youngest daughter, Faith, she went to Nassau Community College. So I know something about that area. And these parents send their children to go to college. They send them there to get a good education. They don't send them there to get robbed and to get raped and to get ruined. And a casino brings in robbery, it brings in rape, it brings in prostitution, and we don't need state-authorized gambling. And it's not just the racism, because the racism is bad, to target the black and the brown community of Uniondale. How dare you or anybody else do that? But also, it brings in classism. Hard-working people work hard 40 hours a week, and to set an atmosphere for their paycheck to be used up with gambling. You didn't force them to gamble, but you set the atmosphere for them to destroy their lives. And we have to stand together. We need the whole town board to stand against this great injustice, this great inequity, this racism, this classism, this sexism against the black and brown folk of Uniondale, New York. I work with you. I know each and every one of you. I work with you behind the scenes. And you can force the Sands to bring quality jobs with no casino. Family friendly. That's what we need. Family friendly. We don't need no slots. We don't need no sleeves. Say no.
Thank you, Pastor. Always nice to see you, Gene. Great. We have Ms. Herring. We have Ms. Herring, and on deck we have Celeste Broyles. Folks, Ms. Herring, ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Herring, your time. No, Ms. Herring. Ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Hold on. There are passionate people on both sides of the equation. We run an orderly meeting here. We start the speaker. When the speaker's introduced, the speaker's going to get an opportunity to go, and that clock's going to go. At the last meeting, everyone was respectful of that, and they let the people go. So I'm just saying, every time you continue on, when we announce a speaker, the clock's going to start running on Ms. Herring. So I ask people to be respectful of both sides of this and give the people the opportunity to speak. By screaming and chanting, you are going to be taking away people who are opposed to the project, people who have questions of the project, or people who support the project. And that is how we run a decorum and proper meeting here. So just ask everybody to be respectful. Ms. Herring, I held your time on this, but from here on in, the clock will start running. And as I said, the last meeting, a number of you here, everybody ran a very respectful meeting, and we're very, very appreciative of it. So with that, Ms. Herring, and I'm going to have Celeste Broyles on deck. Ms. Broyles, are you here? Great. Thank you, Ms. Herring, please.
Good morning. I'm sorry, I have laryngitis, so forgive me. My name is Jeannie Herring. I live in East Meadow. My husband and I grew up in Uniondale. We've lived in East Meadow for 49 plus years, and we are opposed to the casino. I find no place for it to be. There's just too many schools, Hofstra, Kellenberg. I find no place for gambling that's going to create an environment where we have criminal activity. Gambling is an addiction. Why do we want to promote it in our community? And it's not going to help our businesses because they create an environment. They want to keep you there. They want to have you drink. Another addiction. So the businesses are not going to benefit from the casino, in my opinion. They are not. The traffic on Hempstead Turnpike, I've seen it. I grew up here. It's gotten substantially worse. And the casino is going to make it worse. And I agree. Someone else put the topic of years ago, they had a project, the Lighthouse Project. And there are people here right now that destroyed that project. My husband, my family were longtime Islander fans, and they will never forget or forgive the people that were involved with that, the destruction. That's what it should have been there. And the community would have benefited for that. And the businesses would have benefited for that. But the wrong thing was done, as the wrong thing is going to be done now. The other thing that bothered me too, I kept seeing how many community leaders were, in my opinion, basically being paid off. Like I heard the fire department was given a fire truck. I heard our baseball field was given so much equipment. So what are we doing? What are we doing? So we're buying, it's bribery. People don't get that? That's bribery. So I could go on because the list goes on for how many people were bribed to get this casino project going. I love my community. I love the suburbs. I grew up here. I do not want criminality in our neighborhoods because you know what? Once they run out of money in the casinos, they're going to come crawling into the community. And there is, from what I've read, there's like a 9% or 10% increase in criminal activity. I have grandchildren. We still live here. My children live in my sons live here with my grandchildren. And you know, that's the other thing. What about maybe for that hub, why can't we put affordable housing
next, we're
there?
going to have, next.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have Celeste is up, and we're going to have Keith DeBlasi. Please go, Keith, to that podium over there. Good morning, name and address.
Sorry. Hello. A few weeks ago, I signed up to volunteer.
Name and address.
I'm sorry.
Your name and address.
Celeste Broyles, Levittown.
Thanks.
Welcome. A few weeks ago, I signed up to volunteer for the Town of Hempstead Water Department's storm drain battalion program. Some of you may see these on your drains. And the idea is that the town is trying to get people out to put these medallions or discs onto all the storm drains. Why? Like this one reminds people, if you scoop up your dog's poop, don't throw it down the drain. There's another.
Are you speaking on the hearing today? Or not about this project?
Yes, because this other one says no dumping drains to the groundwater. That means that all the water that goes down the storm drains, part of the town, some of it goes out to creeks or bays, but some of the drains go to the recharge basins that go to the groundwater, that go to the aquifer. For most Long Islanders, the aquifer is our sole source of tap water, and it's already stressed. And I feel like that there's volunteers who we want to do this to help the environment, and then I'm here about a project that could be drawing hundreds of thousands of gallons of water a day from the aquifer, and it's like you're making a mockery of your own medallion program. And there's those of us who want to try to help the environment, and then you say, don't worry about the traffic, we're going to repave and fix everything about the parkway. And yet, what happens? That means less greenery, more pavement, oil, grass, tire tread, and it rains and it goes down the drain. So I'm asking you, if you like a skyline with tall buildings, garages, hotels on top of each other, and neon lights, there's plenty of other places you can move to, and not in Nassau. You can go to the city, run for city council or the mayor, and have all the urbanization you want. And so please, don't laugh. I feel like those of us who are going to be out putting these medallions on, you're laughing behind our backs if you vote for some projects that are so affecting our standard of living in Nassau and the aquifer. So please vote no. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Burrows. Next, I have Mr. de Blasi, and on deck, I have Glenn Albridge. If you go to that mic over there, sir, if you give me your name and address. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Keith de Blasi, a resident of Garden City. I've been a resident of the town of Hempstead for 20 plus years. I'd like to start by thanking you for your service to our community and to remind you of the nature of a community. The people in this room, whether or not they would be directly affected by the rezoning use of gambling in this particular location, is somewhat immaterial, because over a long enough period of time, we know there's plenty of evidence to show that at the end of the day, over a long enough period of time, gambling and other vice activities that it draws inevitably gut a community of its values, of its civility, and so on and so forth. And because we are a community, whether you are directly impacted by it, we all live together. We are all indirectly going to be affected by it, whether it's family or friends or whatever it is, the economic, the tax base, the competitiveness, whatever it may be. So I would just like to remind you that we are all in this together at the end of the day. I don't want to repeat many of the things that the previous beautifully eloquent speakers have already said. I lend my support to everything that they have said. But I just want to remind you, I don't think that there is the community support for this. I think that the jobs benefit and the economic benefit is both temporary and it's a red herring. At the end of the day, this goes badly, and we've seen it over and over again throughout our country. We don't need more of this. We don't need to contribute to a race to the bottom in our society. And the people on that dais have the ability to influence this. I ask you, as Gandhi would have said, be the change you want to see in the world. Do the right thing for your community, for your families, and for all of the people that you know and love. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, I have Glenn, you're going to speak, and then on deck, I have Ingrid Fabulous on the podium, please. Please, sir, if you give your name and address.
Hey, good morning. I'm Glenn Aldridge, 44 Houston Road, Garden City. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'd like to talk to you, the board, the supervisor, about public service. You guys are all a little younger than me, but you certainly got started in politics at a younger age. It might have been the school board, it might have been the village, might have been the town of Hempstead right away. But at the time, you were young, you were idealistic. you were probably rock solid that you were going to be a true public servant. You were going to make decisions that were best for the citizens. You were going to be a difference maker. I want you to think back on those times in your life. Along the way, however, you discovered that the road was littered with obstacles. Deals you didn't really like had to be made. Compromises had to be made. Difficult in politics to be rock solid. The zoning decision in front of you today may appear to be one of these compromises. It's an ugly deal, but I guess I have to vote for it. I'm here to say no. The Sands Corporation came to Nassau County and the town of Hempstead with a huge, fantastic plan. Plentiful union jobs, tax money for everyone, permanent jobs galore. Then the Sands Corporation made a business decision and bailed out. They abandoned the entire plan. Any promises made are gone. They owe us nothing. Unfortunately, the Sands Corporation signed a long-term lease for the property for the Coliseum with Nassau County before they bailed out. That's the county's problem, not ours. It's not up to the town of Hempstead to fix this problem. It's not up to the town of Hempstead to bail out the Sands Corporation. It makes no sense to change the zoning on this parcel without a plan on the table. There is no plan. It's time for you, personally, to remember your roots. Be a public servant. Vote against any zoning change. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lynn. Ms. Fabulous, I'm going to have you go, and Harvey Miller, you're going to go on that deck and be ready next. Please, your name and address.
Good morning. My name is Ingrid Fabulous. I live in Uniondale. I've been living in Uniondale for over 30 years. I raised my children in Uniondale. They went to school in Uniondale, they went to high school at Kellenberg High School. I got my master's in healthcare administration at Hofstra University. And we have not far from the hub, we have Hofstra University, we have the Nassau Community College, we also have a charter school, we have a Uniondale High School and other California High School and elementary schools. I do not understand why are you insisting on placing a casino in that area. The Coliseum was built for the veterans. Why don't you think about building housing in that community? I think they had a project years ago that failed for building housing. I think we can revise and then see if we can build housing in that community. I think that's what we need. And I know that other speakers already spoke about what I think I agree with them all. And I also want to know yes, I also want to focus really on the housing community. And also, I want to know why our people are getting paid to get like the other gentleman said before, they're getting paid to have the casino built in that community. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Fabulous. We're going to have Harvey Miller and then Paul Rothenbell will be on deck.
I'm Harvey Miller from East Meadow since 1986. I'm here to strongly oppose the rezoning of the Nassau Coliseum area for a resort or gambling facility. A resort makes no sense in this location. It's landlocked, cut off from Long Island's coastline, and disconnected from what gives resorts any value. Worse, a casino resort brings predatory profits that hurt nearby communities. I'd like you all to listen, by the way, because I have some ideas no one has ever mentioned on this meeting. That's already been demonstrated in prior hearings. We should never sacrifice long-term neighborhood health for short-term revenue. And if union support it because it creates construction work, well, construction can happen under better plans that also uplift the surrounding area. They don't need a casino to stay employed. I understand that the county also accepted $54 million from Sands as a kind of down payment, but that was a bad decision, taking money first and looking for a rationale later. That's not leadership. That's being cornered by your own mistake. I've shared alternative ideas for this location with residents, both on Facebook and face-to-face, and they've all been met with real enthusiasm because people want solutions that fit, not forced projects driven by sunk political money. So let's take a look at 7 options that benefit our community and help the union. Everyone should be happy. Number 1, a medical and research campus expanding partnerships with Northwell, NYU Langone, or Memorial Sloan Kettering. Brings high-skilled jobs and supports Hofstra's medical programs. 2, an innovative district with STEM campuses, biotech incubators, and co-working labs. It attracts young professionals and clean growth. 3, a cultural and civic center, including green space, performance areas, and a community rec center, great for families, low impact, high reward. 4, a clean energy hub in partnership with NYSERDA. Solar research, EV labs, and energy storage, a chance for Long Island to lead, not follow. 5, a sports and wellness complex with physical therapy training, kinesiology labs, year-round use, good traffic management. 6, a film and digital media campus, low disruption, high prestige, and big creative potential. 7, senior and workforce housing with walkable services, gardens, and medical access. Boost the tax base without stressing roads or services. What we don't need is a traffic-choking, socially regressive casino or bloated resort no one asked for. This is the center of Nassau County. It should be reflect what we stand for: education, health, sustainability,
Thank you very
quality
much,
life.
Mr. Miller. Next, I have Paul Rathenbill. And on deck is John Carter. You started. John Carter on deck. Mr. Rothenbill.
Hi, excuse me, Paul Rothenbill from Garden City, resident 43 years, Nassau County 81 years, I guess. The one thing that's bothering me right now, Don, each time somebody's up here, you don't appear to be paying any attention. You seem to be more concerned with who's up next. But what I do want to, I have utmost respect for you. We were involved in, that's when I first met you, trying to fight the monster poles with the Long Island Railroad. And just as a sidelight, something came up in one of those meetings that I want to bring it to your attention again. I was so impressed with it. It caused me to vote for you every time since then. One of the things you said at the meeting, that the casino could never come here without your signature. You would never sign for it. I was impressed with that, and that's why I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Rothenbiller. Mr. Carter, you're up, and then on deck, I'm going to have Kathleen Kelsch on this side. Kathleen Kelsch? You're not going to speak? Okay, then we're going to have Kathleen Wasaki on deck, please. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. My name is John Carter, and a resident of Garden City in the town of Hempstead since the 1940s. I graduated from Hofstra College in 1958. It was a relatively small college whose campus did not extend north of the Hempstead Turnpike. I saw it grow and prosper over the years, becoming a respected university with schools of law, medicine, engineering, and nursing, among others. I find the proposal to build a casino right next to Hofstra deeply troubling, not just as a former student, but as a citizen who believes in preserving the integrity of our educational institutions and the environments in which they thrive. I had the opportunity yesterday to drive past the Coliseum where it abuts the Hofstra dorms. I knew it was close. I was shocked. To me, it's probably 200 yards of parking space before the Coliseum. I can't believe that's being considered. Hofstra has been a cornerstone of this region for nearly a century. It deserves protection, not proximity to a facility that threatens to compromise its environment, its students, and its future. Personally, I think it's outrageous that we have to be here saying these things. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. Ms. Masaki, and then on deck, I'm going to have John Buck on the podium side, please. Good morning. Name and address for the record. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kathy Wysocki from Garden City. I thank you for the opportunity to be able to let us express our feelings. Many people have brought up the dangers of having a gambling center 24/7 in our backyard. I agree. I'm not repeating those, but I agree with them. Steve Cohen, owner of the Mets, just is actively pursuing a casino at Citi Field to our west. Jake's offers gambling to our east. We don't need another gambling casino right here in our neighborhood. I think we can agree. We're all here for the same reason, basically. We want something built there. We want to provide jobs, but we want something that's an asset to the community, not an albatross. So the question is now, what do we build? And you as our representatives, we count on you to give us the opportunity to speak to you and let you know what our feelings are, what the ideas are. People have ideas, just like the man who spoke here before. He had 7 ideas right away. But if you ask these people, that's why they're here, because they care about what's going to be built there, and they don't want another gambling casino. Ask for their input. They're willing to provide you the information. Many great ideas will be suggested other than gambling. Do a survey. It's so easy. Garden City does it all the time for different things to get input from people. Years ago, when I was working, our management theories we followed were basically just that. We asked the people, I'll just read a little bit. I don't remember the exact title, but it was a participative leadership in government. It says, it involves team members in the decision-making process with management. It fosters a sense of ownership of the problem and commitment to the solution, because working together and good communication leads to higher productivity, better contributions from the people, and increased morale when people feel like they own a piece of the pie, that their input was important enough for management to include their ideas. In 1965, my parents moved their family of 5 children to Garden City. Why? Because my uncle was an assistant superintendent of schools, and he said, Ed, move your kids to Garden City because the school systems will be great for your children. He didn't say, move your children to Garden City because they'll be right near the gambling tables and machines. As a mother and as a teacher, I fear for what our future will be for our children and my new grandchild. I think it's a mistake for you up there sitting, not asking your constituents for their suggestions. I bet you'd be surprised by the creative ideas out there. He had 7 good ideas, but I'm sure there are plenty more. And this would provide jobs for union workers as well as non-union workers. There's no reason there should be a yes or no decision just for gambling alone. It's like we have the two groups now butting heads and nowhere's going anywhere. So please ask for our opinion. Let's work together. We have to live with this for the years to come. So.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Wysocki. I have Mr. Buck, and then I have Jessica Seifert on deck. Mr. Buck?
Well, just wanted to say the land at Mitchell Field has great history behind it. It was an Army base during Civil War. When aviation started, it's where the cradle of aviation for this country really was. When it had to close in 1961 because it's getting to be too small for high-speed airplanes, great decisions were made at that point. Okay, it can't be an airfield anymore. Cradle of aviation. The hangars were kept, and now that's one of the crown jewels of Nassau County, the Cradle of Aviation Museum. And Hofstra, Nassau Community College, the land decisions made at that time really were great, and we can look back with pride. But a casino now, it just kind of leaves a sour taste in your mouth. I echo what many of the other people said.
Thank you, Mr. Buck. Next, I have Ms. Seifert. You're going to go, and Jane Wernart, if you could get on deck at this podium over here. You don't want to speak? No? Okay. Then I'm going to ask Richard Leonard. Are you here, Richard? You want to speak? Yeah. Nope, you're on. Okay. Maria Ryman? You're going to be on deck. Good morning, ma'am. Please give your name and address. Thank you.
My name is Jessica Seifert,
and I'm a resident of Garden City. I am here today to oppose the zoning changes proposed for the Mitchell Field Integrated Resort District. I have 2 children, and I am an active member of the community. None of my friends or neighbors have any interest in gambling being allowed at this site. Some of you sitting up here today are also from Garden City, and I'm sure you have been hearing the same sentiments for many years now. In addition to there being little to no public support, what I really don't understand are why these zoning changes are necessary now. If the the Las Vegas Sands Corporation will not be pursuing one of the current casino licenses that will be awarded to the downstate region. This site has already been operating as a sports, entertainment, and hospitality venue. So if the Sands is still planning on developing these sites with these same goals in mind, as County Executive Bruce Blakeman told Newsday, why are zoning changes needed? If the Sands is no longer pursuing a casino license, why would the town of Hempstead have any interest in allowing gambling at these properties, as stated in the rezoning proposal? Just down the road, 7 miles away, we are redeveloping Belmont Park, which will already have plenty of options for gambling. There is no good reason to rezone this region of Hempstead to also house gambling. There is amazing potential to develop something incredibly worthwhile for the community surrounding this site, but what we definitely don't need is a seedy video gaming parlor.
Okay. Thank you very much. Great. Ms. Reimers, and then I'm going to have Jacqueline Gosh on deck. Good morning. If you give your name and address for the record, please.
Good morning. My name is Marie Reimers, address 1319 Pembroke Street, Uniondale, New York, 11553, about 5 blocks from the Coliseum. I've been living here for 32 years, working hard, paying my taxes. I have a lot of respect for you being elected official. This is not a job I can do because I don't have the patience to do it. All right? My heart goes to you guys. However, I do not understand your rationale lately. Since came in, they're going to be a savior for Nassau, and they're going to be a savior for Uniondale. From the get-go, we told you guys, no, don't do it, because you cannot have Hofstra, Nassau, Kellenberg Memorial, the elementary school, and the Sloan Kettering Hospital. It looks like you're acting, you guys don't have no heart. If somebody have cancer, it can happen to every one of us here, God forbid. So you're going to put a casino there, and they're taking their treatment, they're 2 seconds from dying, and the activity is going to go there. What is you guys' problem, though? What's going on? I really don't get it, though. Why did you approve the hospital to be there? And now you guys changing and want to put a casino there. And when the project came, we never said no completely. We said do something there without the casino. I want to know, why are you guys insisting on the casino? And Mr. Cleven, Ms. Gosby, I call your office, I leave messages, I know your assistant take the message, you never call back. By the way, I am paying your salary, and I don't have no problem with that. Because the job you're doing, I cannot do it. I cannot do it because I cannot go like this. But why, when people call your office, you're not answering them? And I'm not talking for you, I'm talking about me. Check your assistant how many times I call your office and you're not calling me back. I find it insulting. I am a human being. If I call you, you got people working for you. I know you might not pick up the phone and call me back, but have your assistant have the decency to call me back. You're acting like a king. You're not a king. You are a representative of the community. Listen, go back and think about what you guys are doing. We don't have no choice than to elect you guys to do it. Do the right thing. Say no to the casino and better project. And remember those cancer
patients. Thank you, Ms. Reimers. Next, I have Jacqueline Gosh, and on deck, Mike McKeever. Ms. Gosh, Mike McKeever's on deck.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline Ghosh. I am a resident of Garden City. We moved there in 2022 for the family-friendly feel of the community. I like the small town feel. I grew up in a small town in northern Nevada called Winnemucca, where the biggest industry is mining and the second biggest is gambling. I have seen the effects of gambling firsthand. I've seen marriages fall apart. I know of many house foreclosures as a result of gambling. And, and the worst of all is that my town is plagued by suicides. When my sister was a Girl Scout, her troop leader's husband took the troop's dues and gambled them away at the slots. I wish I could say that he won big and paid for them to go to summer camp, but of course he lost it all because of the phrase that every child in Nevada learns early: the house always wins. My stepfather had a gambling problem. It was a major factor in the disillusion of his marriage to my mother. When I was 16, my mom was out on a business trip and my stepdad was not home at dinner time. It was getting late and I did not want to be alone at night. I knew where he was. He was at the casino, gambling and drinking. So I had my friend drive me to the casino. I went in and found him with his change bucket at the poker slots. Losing money and definitely too drunk to drive. Usually the casinos give you free drinks if you're gambling. As we all know, we don't make the best decisions when we are under the influence of alcohol, and this is certainly an example of that. I dragged him out of there and drove him home. What would have happened if he would have driven himself? If this casino comes, there will be an increase in drinking and driving. Unfortunately, we are all acutely aware of the tragedy of drinking and driving can bring, as accidents in Long Island are already alarmingly high. When I was in nursing school at the University of Nevada, Reno, I saw further effects results of gambling and alcohol addiction. DR nurses called weekend night shifts the Gun and Knife Club, much of which was the result of nonstop availability of gambling and alcohol. Gunshots, stab wounds, and alcohol withdrawal were the most common treated injuries. Speaking of the University of Nevada, Reno, the closest casino is 1.6 miles from the UNR campus. The University of Las Vegas, which has a school of gaming and hotel management, is 1.6 miles from the closest casino and resort. Even Sin City recognizes the need for distancing its college students from the temptation of gambling. The proximity proposed is a quarter of a mile from Hofstra, a quarter of a mile. And the legal age of gambling is 21 in Nevada, not 18. Let's see. This will not bring businesses to local shops and restaurants. This will take them. The whole point of a casino is to keep people inside as long as possible to keep them gambling. They will not leave to go to restaurants. They will be provided that there. Please do not list this casino into our community. Take to heart what Nevada's children learn early. The house always wins, and most everyone else loses. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Gosh. Mike McKeever, and on deck, I'm going to have Gabrielle Pastrana on deck over on this side. Good morning. If you name and address for the record, thank you.
Yes, Mike McKeever, 118 Kildare Road, Garden City, resident of town of Hempstead my entire life, father of 3 kids, Chaminade High School alum, many track meets at Mitchell Field competing against the likes of Uniondale and many other schools in the area. When I arrived today, I know some comments were made and the room had to be settled because we had to discuss the project. There are opponents of the project and there are supporters of the project. Should we all just point out one more time, what is the project? We are about to take a vote to rezone an area next to 2 universities, a cancer treatment hospital, multiple schools. My kids go to the Children's Museum of the Long Island Children's Museum, the Cradle of Aviation Museum. We're going to turn that into a mini Atlantic City when we have no public disclosure of what this project is. I'm wearing a ragged t-shirt that I've been wearing for 2 years with this group. People now have become very close with, a grassroots movement that wants to protect our communities some of us have lived in for 80 years. I've got a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 5-year-old. I want them to live in a town I'm proud of. We moved from New York City back to Long Island to raise our kids in Garden City. We love the town of Hempstead, and I just can't understand. You were elected officials. You're here to represent us. A gentleman earlier said he thinks 60 to 70% of people in this room oppose the casino. When we had this discussion back in January or February of 2024, you guys, to your credit, were very transparent. You posted on the internet all the comments, both public comments, the videos, the online forums. I read it. I read it with this group because we care so much about this movement. It was 90% opposition, 90% of the comments collected, thousands and thousands of comments. And these are really passionate pleas, right? Protect my community, protect my family, My husband was gambling addicted. My children are exposed. I've got kids to go to Hofstra. I've got kids to go to Kellenberg. Like me, I bring my kids to the Long Island Children's Museum. The other side of the coin, you get buzzwords, okay? We need to move forward. What does that mean? Putting a casino is not moving forward. Putting a casino is Roosevelt Raceway right ahead of OTB, and putting Sands Casino is putting a casino in place when all of a sudden you've got gambling on everyone's devices. That is like buggy whip manufacturing here, okay? So I encourage you to listen to your constituents. I'm so proud of this organization that I've spent the last 2 or 3 years banding together with, and I hope you make the right decision. Honestly, it all means so much to us. It means a lot to our future. I appreciate the time.
Thank you very much. Gabrielle Pastrani. And on deck, I have Valerie Fitz. Ms. Fitz, if you're going to go to that podium over there, please give your name and address. Thank you.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to say a few words. My name is Gabriel Pastrana from Garden City. I stand here for everything that has been said here before, for some beautiful, great, extraordinary things. And it is an honor for us to be in front of you, and we hope that somehow these feelings and convictions that we convey here will touch your hearts. You are also parents, you have children, you have grandchildren. They all probably live nearby, and you can see that you have this serious responsibility to build a good, positive environment for them. I'm an educator. I have been teaching at Great Neck for 27 years, and I taught at Hofstra University until 2 years ago for another 20 years. I felt so proud and so satisfied walking on the campus of Howard University, and it was so satisfying to see the children and the students from all over the United States. They were so proud to say that they were taking their studies at Howard University. And sometimes when I was walking through the fields, through the campus, we were just at the end of the northeast side, and we were just across at the other side of the street was the Coliseum. And I cannot imagine how a casino will be built there when it is so near so many educational institutions. It is not that we don't trust our students at the Howard University, but when they go to school and they see what is across them, personally, I would feel ashamed to say that we are teaching in such a close place to the casino. And they are so proud to be at this university. And you could see from our relationship and connection with the families that they were equally very proud and satisfied. How can we say now, or they will say, oh, you are now from that university, that one that has the campus across the street? Unbelievable. So it is so much that is put on your hands. We hope and pray that it will touch your hearts and represent us the way that we believe it is.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pastrano. Now I have Ms. Fitz right over here, and I'm going to have Tommy Oladoturn on deck, please. Good morning. If you can name and address. Thank you.
Good morning. Valerie Fitz, Uniondale. Good morning, everyone. I'm here this afternoon. I'm carrying the 200 letters that were signed in support of the rezoning Greater Mitchellfield. In this letter, it is expressed that the 72 Nassau Coliseum site is one of the most valuable and underutilized properties in our county. Right now, outdated zoning is holding it back, and in turn, holding our town and county back from building a stronger, more dynamic future for our young people. Updating the zoning isn't about one project. It's about creating a path forward to generate jobs and expand business opportunities and spark meaningful economical growth for our community. This site was once a place where residents came together and made lasting memories with family and friends. Approving the zoning can change, help restore that spirit. A vibrant, thoroughly developed resort and entertainment district can give young people and families a reason to stay on Long Island. With 1 year-round attractions, concerts during weekend experiences, and good paying jobs that benefit local residents and small businesses alike. Let's stop this site from sitting idle. Let's show hope for the hub and rezone it and give the town of Hempstead and its residents the future that they deserve. This area has been sitting idle for years now. I am a longtime resident of Uniondale, went to Uniondale High School, went to Malloy College, Malloy University now. I also happen to work at the Nassau Coliseum now. And it's really, I'm sitting here today and I've sat in all these meetings and it's say no to casino, say no to casino. Okay, yeah, let's say no to casino, but what do we want to see at the Nassau Coliseum? Let's say yes to rezoning and get something going on in Uniondale. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fitz. Now, next I have Tommy Oladutan. Tommy, you here? Okay. Sam Del Albuquerque. Sam, you're going to go to this podium, and on deck I'm going to have Jean Metalmayer. Just come on up and give your name and address. Thank you.
Should I start?
Yep.
Okay, I'm Sam DeAlbuquerque from Garden City, and I just want to say I'm currently attending Hofstra University, so I already I already go to the hub basically every day. I will say I think everyone, or at least most people, agree that we should do something to revitalize the Nassau hub. I looked around and I saw most of the posters in favor are mostly addressing the subject of revitalizing the hub, which I think we definitely should, because it has the opportunity to be a huge source of revenue. A casino is the wrong call. It'll attract sin and degeneracy towards our local communities, we have a ton of schools in the Nassau hub. We have Hofstra, we have Nassau Community, we have Kellenberg, and also it's a fairly prominent business district. We have the RXR Plaza, the Omni Building. Think about how having a huge casino complex would look for the businesses who are based there. It would detract from the supposedly professional environment that it already is. There are already tons of other proposals that other people have discussed that would still be sources of good union jobs and would bring revenue to the town without bringing all the bad things that are associated with the casino. The casino would attract all the worst parts of society directly to the Nassau hub, directly to a good educational, medical, business district. We should not have that. We should revisit other ideas on how to revitalize the hub. I've heard other people bring up the Lighthouse Project. I've heard other people bring up housing complexes. I'm not necessarily sure what the best call is, but I know the casino is not the right call because it flies directly in the face of what the other things in that hub are supposed to stand for. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Next I have Jean, and Colette Blakey is going to be on deck. The podium, please.
Hi, Jeannie Madelmeyer, Garden City resident since 1968. My four brothers and I went to Maria Regina Diocesan High School, which is now the home of Kellenberg Memorial, where my four children went to high school. That strip of Hempstead Turnpike is something I could probably drive blindfolded at this point in my life, which I won't, I promise. But I just think a casino is not, obviously what everybody's been saying, is not needed in that area. It used to be such a more family-friendly area with the Coliseum and stuff like that. Bring in the medical facilities. I've heard that again today a lot, and I agree with it 100%. I have friends who have cancer, and having Sloan right there has been a godsend for them, not having to go into the city all the time. HSS is in the Omni building. Let them build a outpatient operating facility on the Nassau Community College, Nassau Coliseum campus there, so that they can do their day surgeries and people don't have to go into the city for a day op surgery. I'm sure with the Hofstra Medical Campus booming now, that would be a great place for people to do their internships and stuff like that. It's definitely, we need a medical hub. I think that's a great thing. Housing would be wonderful. Anything but a casino would be wonderful. It's just not needed. If it was needed, whatever, but it's not needed, and it just brings in problems. And we don't need any more problems. You know, some parts of Hempstead has their own problems. We don't need more problems in that area. Anyway, I say no to any kind of rezoning for gambling purposes. If you want to do rezoning, if there's another thing that needs to be rezoned, great. If not, no for gambling purposes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Colette Blake? Colette Blake? Okay. Sharon Redmond, please come to the back. Mike, you're on that side. You're on that side there. And then Jill Weber will be on deck. Morning, your name and address. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Sharon Redmond. I live in Garden City. I was born and raised in Nassau County, as was my husband, and we've proudly raised our 4 children here. I'm here today to urge you to vote no on the rezoning proposal that would allow a casino or gambling complex at the Nassau hub. My opposition is not just philosophical. It is based on personal experience. From 2002 to 2004, my husband served as the project manager for the Atlantic City Brigantine Connector Tunnel. The goal of that project was to bring people into Atlantic City and spark a downtown revival through improved access to the casinos. The tunnel was built, the access improved, but the revitalization, it never happened. Even today, just step 1 block off the casino properties and you'll find very little in the way of sustainable shops, restaurants, or community life. Casino resorts are designed to be all-encompassing. No clocks, no windows, perpetual artificial lighting. That's not by accident. It's a carefully engineered environment to keep people spending inside those walls and only inside those walls. They do not contribute to local small business vitality, quite the opposite. A recent Google search shows Atlantic City is still scrambling to reduce its dependence on gambling. They're now offering revitalization grants up to $2 million, but in a city with 78% more violent crime, 41% more burglaries, and 30% more vehicle thefts than nearby areas, those grants are a drop in the bucket. The casino model hasn't solved their problems. It has deepened them. We do not want to replicate Atlantic City here in Nassau County. We are also being told this project will generate jobs, but that argument is a distraction. In March 2025, the Bureau of Labor Statistics projects above average growth in the construction industry nationwide. In fact, faster than the average for all occupations. And in New York, with a 16B, that's Gateway Tunnel project underway, $1 billion, Gateway Tunnel project underway, skilled labor will be in high demand for years to come without resorting to a casino in our backyard. Our community deserves a development plan that builds long-term value, one that promotes innovation, supports local business, and keeps families and neighborhoods strong. Please do not sacrifice our future for short-term gains.
Much, we appreciate it. I have Jill Weber, and on deck, I'm going to have Joanne Thacker. On this side, Joanne Thacker, are you here, Ms. Thacker? Great, I'm going to have you go to this side. Please, give your name and address. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jill Weber. I live in Oceanside. I lived in Nassau County for over 30 years and also came here from this city seeking refuge from crowds and noise and pollution and raise my family here. My children want to come back here now that they've grown and finished college and raise families. And I really seek a future for them in a place that's safe, that's not subject to the dangers of something like a casino in our community. I know, Don Clavin, I had spoken with you a couple of years ago, and your daughters were in the car, and you talked about how much you cared about the environment and how you wanted to paint a future that was safe and ecologically sustainable for them. And I felt the same way. I voted for you with that in mind, because I felt like with children, you had our best interests in mind. I really hope that all of you have kept an open mind and have listened to the testimony, not only today, but for the last few years. This is not the answer for our community. There are lots of other opportunities. We've heard many very good suggestions for other things. Everybody wants to see something, I think. Like people have said today, there's many other options to bring in green infrastructure, safe recreational opportunities, medical facilities, housing, especially with renewable energy in the housing, and we could be leaders here in Nassau County that other parts of the country could look to as we develop areas that are really have a lot of potential. This is not the casinos is not the answer. Hempstead Plains is in the neighborhood. You haven't heard much about that today, but this is a very unusual grassland area that's endangered. It's one of the few that remains in an urban environment or a suburban environment. Used to be much bigger. More things like that that make people want to come here and stay here. A casino would be the absolute worst thing. I really do hope you're listening, keeping an open mind. We don't need rezoning for a potential project that's not even in place. And I ask you to please vote no. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Weber. I have Joanne Thatcher, and on deck I'm going to have Betsy Andromedis at the podium side, please. Morning.
Good morning. Good afternoon, council members. I'm here today as a deeply concerned resident of East Meadow. My name is Joanne Thacker, a mother of 3 young children, 1, 4, and 9, and my message remains consistent. Our community unequivocally opposes gaming at this site. Over the last 2 years, my neighbors and I have passionately taken a stance against the proposed Sands Casino. When Sands withdrew their bid for a state gaming license, we took that as a victory for common sense and community well-being. However, the relief was short-lived. Now, despite 2 years of consistent vocal opposition from families like mine, the town of Hempstead and Nassau County are pushing forward with a rezoning that would open the door to any gaming facility on the Mitchell Field site. This resolution explicitly lists gaming facilities as the very first permitted use for this newly designated district. This isn't about one specific company anymore. This is a fundamental decision to introduce gambling into the heart of our community, directly adjacent to a university and community college, and easily walkable from my home. The consequences of such a decision, increased traffic, a rise in DUIs, and elevated crime rates, are not hypothetical. They are very well documented realities that would transform our quiet neighborhoods and the very roads where my children go to school and daycare. We've been clear, a gaming establishment does not align with the vision we have for Nassau County. It represents a short-sighted pursuit of revenue that would, in the long run, erode our quality of life and undermine the very values we strive to instill in our children. We want them to aspire to careers of innovation and creativity, not to be surrounded by an industry that often preys on desperation. The community has spoken. We have presented our arguments, and we have done so repeatedly. Please do not disregard the voices of the very residents you serve and continue pursuing this rezoning for gaming facilities in the face of such overwhelming public opposition. I urge you to listen. Envision a future for Mitchell Field that truly uplifts our community, a development that fosters growth, opportunity, and maintains the quality of life that drew us all here. Please prioritize the long-term well-being of our families over the allure of gaming profits. Say no to this rezoning that paves the way for gaming at Mitchell Field. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. I have Betsy Andromedis, and I'm going to have Peter Andromedis on this side.
Andromedas, we were neighbors. Anyway, sorry, Don. I'm Betsy Andromedas. I live at 116 New Market Road, used to be a neighbor of Don Clavin's. I've lived in Garden City my entire life. And I've watched the sharp decline of Nassau County, which is so sad. Casinos lead to blight, and you only need to look at, as Sharon said, Atlantic City to know. We all know the terrible things that happen with casinos. We all want this area to be developed in something positive. But we're also aware of how much money LVS invested in this, in their gamble, to infiltrate Nassau County, and they want to recoup their losses, but at what cost? And they manipulate everyone they can, including many people in this room. That's their problem. It's not ours. In today's digital world with online gaming, casino buildings it just seems like a waste. It doesn't make sense. Then you have the loss of property values and then all the other vices that come with casinos, aside from taxing our emergency services and our dwindling natural resources. The overdevelopment of Long Island is alarming. And do you guys want to be remembered as the ones who destroyed Nassau County? What's your legacy going to be? And do you even care? You ran for office to improve the lives of all of us, of Nassau County residents. So why would you even consider something that would devastate people that you claim to care for? Here's the thing. I'm just sick of the placating of LVS and these casino things. LVS was beaten by their own game. They took a gamble and they lost. Stop being manipulated by multi-billion-dollar casino operators and start listening to the voters. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Peter and Jean Loftus is going to be on deck. Please, name and address. Thank you.
I'm ready? Okay.
Yep.
Peter Andromedas, Garden City, New York. I was going to start in a different way, but after listening to all the wonderful ideas regarding STEM research and medical facilities, medical research, it just excited me. I'm a stage 4 cancer survivor recently, and thank you. Thank you. And that was because of good Northwell health systems that got me through this, and I'm a survivor now. And excuse me it affected my speech and my eyesight. But anyway, this is the way I was going to start. Folks, a casino, come on, are we joking? This is the best we can do. We have so many talented people here in Nassau County, and I've heard this, just one person alone with 7 wonderful ideas, okay? And they don't have to be each exclusive of each other. They could be combined into a wonderful area, okay? So I'm going to say the suburban life that we desire for our families is really fading away. And now we want to plant a tacky casino in what's left of suburbia. This signals that Nassau County is in decline. There used to be what's called barriers to entry, strong zoning laws, for example. Now it seems like anything goes. Massive housing projects lining both sides of the street that are turning us into Queens. Just go down Front Street to West Hempstead. 420 units are being built on a 7 or 9 acre plot, and across the street is an existing housing development. So if you drive past that, imagine that going down our streets eventually, and you'll be living in 4-story housing projects in Queens, basically. That's what the look will be, okay? So it's going to lower our quality of life. Will local homeowners be attracted to buying in East Meadow, Uniondale, Garden City, any place nearby with a casino there? The property values have to drop. I've been in real estate all my life. I just can't imagine a real estate broker saying, oh yeah, there's a casino. You can walk to it, okay? I mean, it's a callous disregard of our property values. And it's laughable that the casino owners have offered to fund addiction programs. How ironic is that? Big developers with splash money that targets local communities and often politicians. Just look at Newsday's articles, okay? I don't even want to get into what they say because they're rather shocking. This is shock and awe, splashing a few $1 million in light of a $6.5 million investment is to grease the wheels, okay? Will the casinos be there when these communities become reliant on this money that they're offering? What's the recourse when the area becomes blighted and the casino group doesn't live up to their vague promises? Will Nassau County go to landlord-tenant court to evict the casino? Why don't we need, and we don't, oh, sorry, I'm done.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Good to see you. You're fine. Next, I have Gene Loftus. Gene Loftus. Going once, going twice. All right. Thomas Loftus. Thomas Loftus. What? You're not speaking? Okay, Mr. Loftus. Catherine Quinn. Ms. Quinn, if you go to the podium, and on deck, I'm going to have Kiana Anderson on this side, please. Thank you. Your name and address, and when you're ready. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Catherine Heaney Quinn. I live in Garden City. I'm a lifetime resident of Garden City. My mom is here. Many of my parents' friends are here. Family friends are here. The Andromedases, Mr. Rothenbiller, lots of people are here. The Hub can be an engaging, healthy entertainment center without having gambling. It is unethical to provide blanket approval for gambling. There are other development options. For example, Chelsea Piers, which has found considerable success and provides enriching activities in Stamford, Connecticut. Volleyball, soccer training, spaces for healthy, year-round opportunities for residents of Nassau County to enjoy. We don't need a slot machine casino, which can only serve and likely harm adults, as evidenced by anecdotal evidence here today. We don't need a casino near our local schools. Hofstra, Nassau Community College, and Kellenberg Catholic High School, just to name a few in the area. A casino will provide elevated amounts of air, noise, light, and water pollution while polluting our quality of lives in Nassau County. It's unnecessary. Placing a casino in a densely populated community is unprecedented and dangerous. Our highways and roads are already clogged with traffic. But to be clear, we also don't want to use mass transit to ferry residents to slot machines. That's unethical. I recall hearing that this was not to be a destination casino. This demonstrates that the intention is to have visitors of any casino be residents of New York State, specifically Nassau, Suffolk, and New York City residents. We can do better than generating state revenue via gambling from state residents. Let's show some creativity and intelligence in addressing future uses for the Hub. Any development that happens here, which obviously is going to happen at some point, will generate revenue and bring jobs to the area. We don't need it to be a casino. If you want to save the suburbs, please don't allow gambling at the Coliseum property. It exposes our community to increased crime, air pollution, worsening gambling addiction among our children, or our entire community, exacerbated traffic issues, and added infrastructure and social costs, which harm local businesses, restaurants, and overall degrade our environment and quality of life. Councilman Muscarella and Supervisor Clavin, you live here. Your families live here. You know that a casino is not good for Nassau County. Think of your children and your grandchildren's futures when this vote is called. I have always valued your integrity, and there's never been a more important moment to display it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Quinn. Ms. Anderson, and on deck, I'm going to have Pat Haney at the podium side, please. Good morning. Oh, good afternoon. Name and address for the record.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kiana Bieria Anderson. I'm a Hempstead resident. I'd like to point out first a few things. One, that this town body decided to raise property taxes on the entire township of Hempstead by 12%. So it is incredibly convenient that they are pushing this casino right now because they need to find a way to excuse that raise on you. So that's how I'm starting my afternoon. The second reason, I have a great many deal of friends who are on this project and support this project, and for 2 years I stayed quiet. For 2 years, I supported their moves. I said, okay, my favorite people are working on this, people that I've worked with against other projects, and you all are telling me that this is a good idea. But now the games have started. And some of my favorite people don't live where this casino will be now. And that is important. I want development. Let's stop putting unions and working class people against each other. We want development. We want good jobs. But according to the Long Island Equity Study, the same jobs that would be produced by this casino are the exact same reason why Nassau County is losing out on $24 billion of real revenue every year. This is not the solution. We want development. So let's stop acting like, oh, there's NIMBYism on Long Island. Long Island's demographics are changing significantly. I turn 32 next month. I live with my grandparents right now. This legislative body has stopped housing, has built housing in my area, but stopped housing from being built in Hewlett. So you're really telling me that while casinos and retail are going down across the country, it's a good idea to build retail and casinos here in Nassau County. Jake's 58 is taking everyone off the property tax rolls. So if it's not going to do that, I don't want that. You're honestly saying to me that everyone in opposition, there is no other way, there's nothing else that we can consider building. I went on social media and I said I would love to be able to take my nieces and my nephews, my cousins and siblings, someplace in Nassau County other than the Long Island Children's Museum. There's a new demographic of people here. There's a new generation here. We need to go somewhere. We want to be here. But building a casino, my friends and I, we're not going to a casino. We're not going to spend our money at a casino. What we will go and spend our money on, art museums, galleries, places that allow us to be on our screens outside. If we're going to live in this world where technology is advancing, we need to advance as a society with that technology. Any development should include technological advancements that are environmentally sound, economically intelligent, and don't blight the community. You can't sit here and say that this isn't going to be a problem when you raise taxes on us. You raised property taxes by 12%, and now you're going to put a casino in our community, further blighting an already overtaxed area. That's not fair, and you need to be held accountable for it. And I hope that judgeship was worth it.
Okay, I have Pat Haney. Pat Haney. She's spoken. Okay, thank you, Pat. John Riley. Mr. Riley, I'm going to have you go to the podium, and I'm going to have Barbara Hafner on deck at the mic. Thank you.
Good afternoon. John Riley, Garden City resident and local business owner. I oppose legalizing gambling at the Nassau Hub. A casino, especially a slots-only casino, would be simply not a good long-term investment for the county. It would not only have to eventually compete with the 3 downtown casinos and Jake's 58, but also the rapidly expanding online betting. My children's generation are much more comfortable betting online than they are at a site. For example, this year's Super Bowl online betting was $1.39 billion, which is a 11% increase over the previous year alone. I'm in systems technology, and I know the advances in virtualization which are coming. By next decade, a brick-and-mortar Nassau casino will be very quaint compared to the online applications and not an attractive destination. For those who want online gambling experience, they will have the choice of 3 nearby casinos. The Nassau casino would be hopelessly squeezed and eventually unprofitable. Furthermore, having the Nassau Hub dominate by gambling, with all its disadvantages which so many residents have expressed today, including increased crime and addiction, will come with a high opportunity cost for the county. It would be a major impediment to attracting the right type of investment we want long-term, like people have said, in medical, technology, and housing. I urge you not to legalize gambling at the Nassau Hub. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to have Jennifer Pupas on deck. Ms. Hafner, the mic is yours.
Yes, Barbara Hafner, West Hempstead. As a resident, parent, grandparent, educator, and union leader, I am standing here to ask you not to allow the area known as the Hub, Nassau Coliseum, to be rezoned to allow for a casino resort. Currently, gaming facilities including bars, casinos, cocktail lounges, nightclubs, hotels, and other facilities under their control are not allowed according to the town of Hempstead zoning. I am asking that our zoning laws not change to allow such facilities. As an educator, I can tell you that this lifestyle is not something I would condone for my students. As a parent, I did not encourage gambling and drinking. As a grandparent to a 2-year-old granddaughter, I will encourage play both inside and out, nature, animals, and physical adventures. You can be sure our time together will not include betting and visiting casinos. As a union leader, I know the importance of providing opportunities for workers in the building trades, sheet metal workers, laborers, electrical workers, and the list goes on. However, I believe we can provide those opportunities with other proposals that will benefit our unions, our communities, and the future of our children. As a town, I hope our goal will be projects that include highly skilled jobs, low traffic impact, clean economic development, attract young talent, enhance quality of life, draw families and cultural seekers, year-round use, and increase in a stable tax base. All this to the benefit of our communities, our families, and our future. Some ideas worth considering include advanced medical and research campus, digital media and film production studio, innovation and education district, mixed-use civic and cultural center, clean tech and green energy hub, sports and health wellness complex, senior living and workforce housing complex. I am sure, as elected leaders, you will do what is right for the people you represent. Thank you.
Ms. Pupis, and on deck, I'm going to have Althea Robinson.
Good day, Supervisor Clavin and the town board. My name is Jennifer Popus. I've lived in the town of Hempstead for over 40 years, and I currently own a home in Malvern. I'm proud to be an active member and past president of the Mineola Garden City Rotary Club for the last 20 years because I care deeply about our community and its future. I'm here to speak strongly against the proposal to rezone the Nassau Coliseum property to allow casino gambling. This is a dangerous direction for Nassau County. Our community is known for being a safe, family-friendly place with a high quality of life. That's why people move here and why we stay. A casino simply does not align with our values or the needs of our beautiful communities. Let's be blunt about what a gambling casino would bring. More traffic, more strain on our fragile, delicate water supply, more pollution, just to name a few facts. My profession is sales. All of Nassau County is my territory, and I spend a good part of my workday driving. Our roads are already at a breaking point. Obviously, thousands of additional vehicles daily would bring more gridlock, worsen air quality, and increase wear and tear on our infrastructure. I ask all so a few developers can profit off gambling. This proposal casino could sit next to two colleges, a high school, and the Long Island Children's Museum. Young people are particularly vulnerable to gambling addiction. Studies show that individuals under 25 are significantly more at risk. Are you aware that gambling addiction is one of the hardest to treat? Nearly 20% of those suffer consider suicide. 20%. In the midst of the youth mental health crisis, do we really want our children to walk past a casino on their way to school? Sloan Kettering Memorial Hospital, immediately next to the Coliseum, has patients, caregivers, doctors, nurses, and hundreds of employees that will all be negatively impacted. This is not what we need. We shouldn't rezone for gambling as a revitalization. There are many better, smarter, and safer ways to develop this property to serve all of Nassau, not just a handful of investors. I respectfully urge the board to say no to the casino zoning. Please say yes to protecting our neighborhoods, our families, and our future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Althea Robinson, and on this side, we're going to have James Jacobs on deck.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, I'm Althea Robinson from Garden City. I was born and raised there, and I'm still a current resident. Also, I was the executive director of the Garden City Chamber of Commerce for 39 years, and so I'm extremely concerned about the effects on our downtown business community. Also, there's a concern always about the water consumption, as well as the traffic, which is currently abominable. So I also feel that to put a casino between two colleges is absolutely obscene. So I am vehemently against establishing a casino in the hub. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Thank you, Althea. James Jacobs, and on deck I have Kira Conlon.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Supervisor Clay, for letting me speak. Just quick, I'm going to make my statement, then I have some quick comments, okay? I'm pleased to note that the Sands Mega project will not come to Nassau County Coliseum site. I must remind you that the majority of Nassau County residents do not want a casino and any type of gambling related to the Coliseum site. I do not want OTB, I do not want VLT, I do not want electronic table games. Building something at this site will uplift our community and our county. We'll use another hospital, we can use a technology hub, is a good choice, and a veteran outreach center will help our veterans who are suffering from PTSD and many other living on the street. Now, here's my comments. I understand you run a tight ship, but I'm wondering what kind of rules of parliamentary procedure you're using. Because most of the time when you come to a point, you let the person speak, then turn the clock on. I show you a lot of respect. I show Deputy Supervisor Gooseby a lot of respect. Even the council people a lot of respect. But sometimes I feel like I'm not welcome here, I'm not wanted, because it's blatant disrespect when people take their hard-earned time to come here as taxpayers to express their interest to what they want not to be built here. I'm pro-union, I'm pro-jobs, I'm pro-quality of life. But in the same token, when I see the blatant disrespect of other individuals given to people not looking at them, not paying attention to what they're saying, so be it. But here's the thing, I also know that elections matter. And if everybody thinks that their seat is safe, keep doing what you're doing. Sooner or later, people will smell the coffee and things will be changed. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Jacobs. Thanks, Mr. Jacobs. And Mr. Conlon, and on this batter up, I'm going to have Mary Tildaldi. Afternoon, name and address of the record. Thank you.
Afternoon. Kieran Conlon, Rockville Center. As some of you know on this board, my wife and I are longtime residents of the town of Hempstead. We're deeply invested in our community and care about its long-term sustainability. I also respect what each of you do and the difficult decisions that you face. But driving over here today, I couldn't help but think about the thousands of times I've driven by the hub, taking my kids to school and sporting events, visiting the various Mitchell Field and Eisenhower. Just thinking about a casino being dropped in there gave me an uneasy feeling. And I couldn't help but think that each of you probably have that same uneasy feeling. More importantly, recent events have made it clear that what is coming is a dramatically scaled down and degraded development project, if any at all. The same people that have stepped away want to sell this board basically a side door exit while you'll be left holding the bill. Currently, there's no actual plan. You are jumping off a cliff and taking us with you. Once rezoned, this board will be forced to accept whatever comes their way. So the dominoes will start to fall and revitalization will be a distant memory. Casinos are not a magic fix. And anyone making promises are lying to you. Statewide, casinos run at 55 to 60% of their actual projected revenues. 80% of the money goes back to Albany. Larger towns like Hempstead realize a much smaller benefit, equivalent to 1% of their annual revenues, equivalent to a dripping faucet. Compare this financial reality with the many operational costs that this town will face if a casino is allowed to be developed. Another reality we have to realize is the cannibalization of the brick and mortar stores that surround the hub. This is a fact that has been studied over the years, and it will happen here. There are other very real, non-financial risks associated with a casino that many of the speakers here have touched on. But I want you to understand the financial realities that are coming. You are the gatekeepers. However, a vote to rezone will set in motion events that will quickly...
Mr. Callen, we get the three minutes. We appreciate it. Mary Tildaldi. Nope, Ms. Tildaldi? Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Okay, I do not have any other slips. Is anybody who wishes to be heard that did not already testify? Okay, if you come on up to the mic, I'll have you on deck over there. And if you come on up and give your name and address for the record, thank you. Please.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, Colette Blake, Brompton Road, Garden City.
Gave you a call before, Ms. Blake, just so you know.
Yes, I was. I was actually speaking to one of these vote yes gentlemen to understand what these signs meant. And really, I think we all have the heart of things that are prosperous for our area to be made there, but not a casino. I really didn't understand the signs, and I was so concerned. But he really explained it was just for things to make people prosper and for jobs to be created and not a casino per se. So vote yes really isn't really, I don't think, what you're getting across here. But with that being said, I will continue. My son is a nonverbal, autistic, severely impaired 5-year-old. We live right off Stewart Avenue in Garden City. And pardon me, I get emotional talking about it. Traffic, things are already a great challenge to us. It is literally my worst nightmare for this to happen. And I'm shocked that we are still here talking about this. It is insane to me that you guys could look in your heart and think this is the best thing for this area to have this in Nassau. Not only Nassau, but the heart of Nassau, right? So my husband's from the North Shore, and I always say, why is the North Shore more expensive? Well, people don't drive through the North Shore. They drive through all of the Middletown of Hempstead. So now more people just drive through racing off Hempstead, Jericho, all the highways that aren't built for this. My son has to drive 40 minutes to his special school on highways. Now you add in people driving to a freaking casino. This is a nightmare. I can't believe you can look into your hearts and believe this is the best thing for our area. Stewart School, Kellenberg, Hofstra, so many schools, towns around here. I mean, let's develop it, but with a clear thing, a clear presence of what's happening there in mind. Tell me, in your heart, you think gambling 24/7. I mean, I lived in this city. I've gone to hotels. I used to live in the Waldorf, for God's sakes, because I've been in a crane accident. Long story. But like, it is a terrible thing to have hotels and all these things. This is not supposed to be a destination where you're coming to this area. It is one thing to have a sports facility where you have games every few nights a week, then you have time off. This is going to be constant. A miserable thing to this area, and you're going to destroy this area. I am going to have to move and now find new places for my son because this is a terrible thing. I am shocked. I am heartbroken that all of you think this is good for this area. It truly breaks my heart because I voted for you. Think about it. This is wrong and you know it. There should be no casino here. Not meant to be here. And I hate doing this, but I have to. Wrong.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Blake. Sir, give your name and address for the record, please.
Ken Silifant.
And your address?
East Meadow.
Thank you.
We're here today because Nassau County can't pass the full-blown casino project through. Now they, which means all the politicians in Nassau County and the town of Hempstead, are, in my opinion, trying to sneak through the back door to eventually get the original full-scale casino plan through. Initially, the county had to face many challenges on those issues, which would force many communities in Nassau County to experience a loss in housing values, loss of business, and exposing all of us to crime that historically comes with a casino. Drugs, alcohol, and gambling addictions would escalate quickly. Your worst fears would be realized. In one example agreed during a Nassau County meeting on the building of the casino, addiction centers knew their businesses would profit from the increase of alcoholics, drug addicts, and gambling addictions. Since when do addiction centers create a setting for more business? Now the town of Hempstead is looking to make a slot or video or only casino a reality here in Nassau County. This would legalize that gambling at the Nassau hub and seal the fate of this valuable property. It would mean that any future development will be dominated by gambling. Let's face facts, a good percentage of people don't want to spend or lose money, and they certainly can't afford it. Especially now, many are uncertain of how they can pay their bills. Additionally, as far as I'm concerned, the town of Hempstead is trying in a deceptive way and with the political help of Nassau County to pass legislation that will hurt all of us financially and open the gates for crime to escalate in all our communities. Unfortunately, it's even worse now with the town trying to push this through. They can't force the wealthy in other Nassau County areas to pay costs associated with reduced property values, inadequate resources to protect Eisenhower Park, which you know addicts will go to, and the loss of local business as seen in Atlantic City and other areas. We need to stand up and say no as a community. Let all county and town representatives know that we will have a choice in who represents us in the future and will be voted out of office if this project continues. Obviously, in my opinion, both town of Hempstead and Nassau County are counting on residents to be uninformed on the issues. Many say it's only going to be a video games and not a full-blown gambling casino. A permit is getting both feet in. If they get the license, they can and will expand to a full-blown casino. Why are they deceiving the public? I don't think they respect the residents and can't afford their properties to be valued. I know I'm up.
Okay, thank you very much. Sir, name and address for the record?
Yeah, hi, my name is Bill Morgan. I've been a resident of Garden City for 30 years, married with 4 children, all went to school here or grew up here. I also have a vested interest in the Nassau Hub. I was an instructor at Hofstra University on adult education. I'm also a cancer patient at Sloan Kettering. I'm a retired educator, having spent 30 years of my life dedicated to young people. And as an educator and a father, I made many decisions based on the needs of my children. But we are tasked here, this generation, to leave the world a better place for the next generation. And a casino in our backyard does not fulfill this legacy. As has been mentioned many times here today, studies have shown increased crime, drug trafficking, congestion, strain on our water, sanitation system, all would be the result of passing this new zoning. We cannot discount the effect of thousands of people descending on our town to gamble. A close friend of one of my kids died of a drug overdose recently, drugs that were made available by strangers coming into our town. And again, if this is approved, the amount of congestion in our area, the work that has to be done, bridge overpasses being closed, Old Country Road, as mentioned previously, be a disaster, just would destroy the quality of life. I was at the last meeting when one person noted that we need something in the area, that the area is undeveloped, but we do need something, but not a casino, nor do we need a huge industrial and entertainment complex. Members of the board, you are tasked with a huge decision, a decision that will affect generations to come. I don't know if you're familiar with the song by Joni Mitchell, we paved paradise and put up a parking lot. Well, let's not pave the way for a new casino. Vote no to the casino and rezoning. A wrong decision cannot be undone.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan. Hi, your name and address for the record? Thank you.
I'm Jennifer Morgan. I'm from Garden City. Okay, I'm the last one, guys, so hopefully I'll end on a good note. But I just want to share my experience of my first time going to casino. with my friends. My friend was turning 21 this last semester, and she was like, let's go to the casino in Foxwoods, because she wanted to just go to nice restaurants, the spas, and, just the shopping in the area. So we all went together, and I just want to say it was the worst experience of my life. The amount of creepy people that came up to me and my friends is astonishing. People like my father and my grandfather's age, is insane. I mean, one guy even told me, he's like, yeah, I sleep in my car so I could gamble first thing in the morning and first thing at night, unprovoked. I was like, okay. But this is the kind of people casinos bring in. They bring in people like that who are disgusting. And I've always felt safe in Nassau County. I love this community. I've grown up here, and I don't want I don't want this casino to bring in these type of people in this community. But anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Morgan. Okay, I don't have any other slips. Does anybody else wish to be heard that hasn't testified? Okay, I'm going to ask that we take a 10-minute recess. 10-minute recess? Yes. Okay, thanks.